Hello and welcome to another episode of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for all things Akron Zips athletics. I'm your host, Megan Williams.
And I'm Zach Leininger.
And today we will be continuing our coverage of both basketball teams, the swimming and diving team, and all the spring sports. So don't go anywhere, because the ZTV Sports Report starts now. To start off today's episode, we are going to talk about our player spotlight, who is the one and only Kaya Woods. So let's take it over to Katie, who edited together these highlights. Thank you, Katie. Well, Zach, Kaya Woods is such a strong member of this team. She's one of the fastest on the court. So as soon as she gets the ball, she's going to be on the other side, hopefully getting us a basket. Her season high has been 22 points, which is amazing. We love to see high-scoring games. That just helps the team, especially helping Reagan to not have to get as many points. So what have you seen in her so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, Kaya is just she's just an extremely exciting player to watch. Every time she gets on the court, she just does something that blows you away. Whether it be her just explosiveness, her ability to move quickly, left and right, or just her ability to finish around the rim. She just always does something that leaves you surprised, excited. You never really know what's going to happen. But for the team, she's been a key piece for this team, and a much needed motor off the bench.
Yeah.
Because it's clear in any of the games you watch that the second she comes in, the game is completely different with her on the court.
Yeah.
Just her the second she gets the inbounds, she immediately is pushing the ball up the court, right into the heart of the defense. And it always seems to catch the other teams off guard, causes them to miss some assignments, and it just sets us up for some big buckets that lead us to wins most of the time.
Yeah. We are just so incredibly lucky that she transferred in to become a Zip, and I'm very excited to see what she does next season. So now let's continue this episode by talking about the rest of her team. So let's send it over to Wesley and Davion, who covered two of their recent games.
What's up, everyone? This is the one and only Wes, here with your college basketball update. Let's take a look at how the Zips women's basketball team did against Northern Illinois University. Just like the first letter of my name, the Zips pulled a W against the Huskies with a score of 69-54. The top scorer was Reagan Bass, who scored 25 points, 11 rebounds, 10 field goals, and 2 3-point shots. Morgan Haney was another top scorer. She also made 2 3-point shots. She also made 5 field goals, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Haney scored a total of 15 points throughout the game. Tanisha Clark was another notable player. She scored a big number of 6 rebounds and 11 points throughout the game. What a truly goated team. Meanwhile, on the Huskies, there are 3 players that all did a pretty good job. Sydney McCray scored 12 points and 10 rebounds. Brooke Stonebreaker scored 11 points and 7 rebounds. Courtney Drake scored 8 points and 2 rebounds. McCray and Stonebreaker had 4 field goals. McCray also scored 2 3-point shots, and so did Drake. That's all I have for your sports update today. This is Wes, and go Zips.
What's up, Zip fans? On Wednesday, March 6th, our women's Zips basketball team took on Ohio University Bobcats. Zips Reagan Bass, number 34, scored 22 points and 8 rebounds, and Morgan Haney, number 15, scored 15 points, 12 rebounds, and made 3 3-point shots. However, despite the efforts of our women's Zips, the Bobcats won with a score of 72-63. Number 0, Jaya McClare of Ohio University, scored 15 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds. Kennedy Watkins, number 5, scored 26 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, and made 2 3-point shots. Both teams played a great game. This is Davion giving you your ZTV Sports Report.
Thank you, Wesley and Davion. So, Zach, coming into this NIU game, the entire team was struggling. Reagan was having a couple of off games, and that just kind of threw the entire team off. But luckily, in this NIU game, which was senior night, which is always fun to see, we were able to pull out the win. We beat them 69-54, which means we beat them both times we played them this season, which is always nice. Reagan was able to find herself again, and she got 25 points and 11 rebounds, which is more typical for her. So what did you see in this game?
Yeah, I mean, this was a great game as a Zips fan and a must-needed win for this team. Coming into this game, I was a little iffy about what team we were going to see.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if this team had fully shut down because the postseason hopes were dim, but they weren't gone. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know how we were going to respond. We came out with a 24-point first quarter. We were, pretty lights out to start the game. Doing what we needed to do, getting the ball in the right spot. A lot of good baskets in transition. Then we kind of let NIU start to creep back in. Brooke Stonebreaker, big girl in the middle, was causing some problems, but not enough. The Zips really did. They really came in and did what they needed to do. I mean, as you mentioned, Reagan had 25, added 11 rebounds. But I think the key here was Morgan Haney's 15, Tisha Clark's 11. I think those were huge because I've said it countless times this semester, but a solid scorer, a solid player outside of Reagan, a good number 2 is what this team needed. They got 2 double-digit scores, which put them in a great spot. They also, for the first time in from what I can remember, 8 turnovers feels like one of the lowest of the season.
Yeah, probably.
Weren't turning the ball over. They were pretty efficient with the ball. And it was just a great overall team win.
Yeah, 100%. So, as I said, that game was senior night, and we celebrated 3 seniors that night. Alexis Stewart, Tamala Thorpe, and Morgan Haney. It's always fun to see senior night, especially just all the emotions of all those players who have played for so long. But after that game, we played Ohio, and this game was pretty much the game that determined if we would make it to the MAC tournament. Mm-hmm. Sadly, the team lost that game 73-63, which obviously isn't what we like to see, and that officially made it so we couldn't get to the tournament. We were one team too low. Mm-hmm. So what did you see in this game?
Yeah, I mean, this game didn't go the way I wanted it to go. No. It felt like we had the right momentum. It felt like things were working in this NIU game. Going into this Ohio game, it seemed like we trended back to our old ways. I mean, only down 6 at the end of the first. It was 3-point game at halftime. We were right in there. It felt like we were bound to make a run at times in this game, and then we just we like I said, we just fell back into our old ways. 8 turnovers in the NIU game. Was great to see, but then 18 in this Ohio game just was not. It was not helping us out at all. There were just too many times down the court where the team set up, and then we got Zakia or whoever on the wing, and we just kept forcing it into Reagan, who was already double, triple teamed, it made no sense to try and make such careless passes, and we were doing it anyway. Just not being smart with the basketball, not doing what they needed to do. On top of that, Kennedy Watkins absolutely blew up the Zips defense.
Yeah.
26 points, 9 for 16 from the field, 2 for 3 overall. They had zero answer for her. She was flustering Reagan, which I can't remember the last time I've seen Reagan frustrated like that.
No.
She was just going right around her, having her way, which was causing a lot of problems. Jaya McClure didn't make things any better. She added 15. And, the Zips lost a game that they really needed to win.
Yeah.
Positives from that game, though, were that we had 4 scorers in double digits. Talking back in the NIU game, I mentioned how it was good we had three double-digit scores. We added a 4th one with Zakiya Rashid after she knocked down some clutch threes. That was good to see. So they ended the season with some quality, some good characteristics to carry into next season.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they didn't come away with a win, which at the end of the day is really what matters.
Yeah. I think all we can ask for at this point is that they just have a really good off season and come back next season with a little bit of something to prove, So I think that's all we can ask, and I think they'll do better next season. And with that, we are going to go into our first commercial break. But after that, we are going to be talking about the men's basketball team. So stay tuned.
You're watching ZTV.
Welcome back. Now we're going to talk about the men's basketball team. So let's take it over to Matt and Taz, who covered 2 of their recent games.
What is good, everyone? Matt here, and in this episode, I'll be covering the men's basketball game against the Northern Illinois Huskies, which took place at James A. Rhodes Arena on March 2nd. Note that we took a big fat dub, so without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? First half of the game started with a dunk by none other than Ricky Freeman, getting the Zips in the lead, and you know what? I couldn't think of a better way to start otherwise. Ali performed a good layup, scoring an extra 2 points for Zips. The Zips were falling behind, but catching up ever so slightly with Mikhail Dawson scoring a clean 3-pointer, making the score 15-19. Ali was back at it again, and elegantly performed yet another layup. Nate Johnson has now tied the game through a 3-pointer, resulting with both teams at a score of 23. Not so later, Enrique Freeman performed a good layup, redeeming the Zips after falling behind earlier. This is still anybody's game, but Sammy Hunter showed the Huskies that it's actually his, with that 3-pointer making the score 32-29. Shortly after, Enrique Freeman caught the Zips up ever so slightly with a clean dunk. The first half concluded with a 3-pointer scored by Tavari Johnson, and I must say, what a way to end it. In the midst of the second half, Caleb Thornton performed a good layup, tying both team scores once again. At this time, the Zips are making a comeback as Ali performs a good jumper, getting the Zips up to 46 points and a 4-point lead in addition to that. Enrique Freeman added victory to the table with that mean dunk right there. After the potential of the Huskies catching up, Mikhail Dawson performed a good layup, making the box score 50-44. After a back and forth between Ali and Ryan Prather Jr., Prather managed to score the 3-pointer, making the Zips 10 points ahead. As an honorable mention, David Coy of the Huskies attempted a layup only to be blocked by Enrique Freeman. 3 minutes left on the clock, Caleb Thornton scored another 3-pointer, and it feels like the Zips are unstoppable. The game ended with the Zips obtaining the winning score of 80-73. Despite the struggle from the first half, the Zips were still victorious and had a redemption arc. This is Matt with your ZTV Sports Report, and as always, go Zips.
Greetings, I'm Taz from ZTV's Sports Report. Today we're diving into the thrilling basketball matchup between Akron and Eastern Michigan University. Let's break down the action. Taking place on Akron's home court at the University of Akron, the game was a nail-biter, with Akron falling just short with a final score of 60 to Michigan's 61. Enrique Freeman emerged as a standout for the Zips, showcasing his skills with an impressive 15-point performance. Not far behind, Aaliyah Lee contributed a commendable 12 points, while Sammy Hunter added 11 points to bolster the team's efforts. Together, they orchestrated an impressive display securing a total of 29 rebounds along with 5 blocks and 6 steals. Despite grappling with 11 personal fouls, our team displayed unwavering resilience and put forth a strong performance throughout the game. Eastern Michigan University, however, was not to be overlooked. Jalen Billingsley led the charge with 14 points, closely followed by Orlando Lovejoy with 13 points and Connor Servin with 11 points, respectively. Their collective effort resulted in an impressive offensive showcase, culminating in a total of 61 points and a dominant performance on the board with 34 rebounds. Overall, it was an intense and closely contested game that kept fans on the edge of their seats until the final buzzer. Thanks for listening. This was Taz signing off.
Thank you, Taz and Matt. So this NIU game was the exact same day as the women's NIU game. It was a doubleheader. It was also senior night for them. We had 5 seniors this season: Greg Tribble, Ali, Enrique Freeman, the transfer Caleb Thornton, and Sammy Hunter. We're gonna miss them so much. They're very important to this team. So this NIU game, I don't know how to say it. It just wasn't good. We won. It was 80-73. But just because you won a game doesn't mean it was good. This team coming into this game was 4-11 on the season, so we should have absolutely blown them out of the water. We did not, and that's just an absolute shock compared to the fact that we've been amazing all season. So, what do you have to say about this game?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, we got the win, but just because we got the win didn't mean that this was a great game.
No.
NIU jumped out to a 37-34 halftime lead. Just seemed to have the Zips all out of whack. We came out not how we normally do. Really sloppy start, not hitting any shots, forcing too many shots, and just putting ourselves in bad situations. To make things worse, NIU held that lead with just 8 guys on this roster.
Yeah.
I think there was like 7 of these guys were out, hurt, sick, whatever it was. They didn't even have their whole team, and they were still hanging around with Akron, who has been the best team in the MAC this season. Major shout out to David Coy here from NIU.
Yeah.
35 points, absolutely insane. I don't know the last time I've seen this high level of a performance. He put up 28 shots, hit 12 of them, hit 5 threes. He was hitting shots all over the floor, absolutely flustering us. John Gross was losing his mind on the sideline. Couldn't figure out what to do.
100%.
And it's just the Zips were falling apart at times in a game that really, to me, was a confidence booster heading into the end of the season. Fortunately, we had some positives. Enrique Freeman did his thing, 22 points, 11 rebounds. Ali added 17. After that, Sammy and Greg both had 8. But it just kind of felt like just some average performances there.
Yeah.
Overall, this game just wasn't up to like the Akron Zip standard. I would say. They just didn't do their job and nearly cost themselves a game.
Yeah. So I honestly think that energy just kind of leaked into this Eastern Michigan game, which was the next game they played, because we lost. And we don't do that a lot. So the end of that game was 61-60, thanks to an amazing dunk by Eastern Michigan at the end of the game. Good for them. Honestly, like, they deserve it. If they're going to win, they might as well do it in a fancy way. Our team was just... I didn't know what happened. I really don't. There's just no good way to explain it. We just didn't play well, whatsoever. So what do you want to say?
I just feel like it was pretty apparent in this game. As you mentioned, we definitely carried over those negative characteristics in this game.
Yeah.
Just some poor shot making, poor shot making. Really bad offense overall. We were forcing way too many passes. I know Caleb, I think Ali had a couple times where there were some passes we're making that weren't anything that I've seen this whole season. No. We were doing things that just completely felt off. And Eastern Michigan, they needed to win this game. They clearly were hungrier for this win than we were.
Yeah.
It just seemed like we backed off. We stepped off the gas in this game. We gotta hand it to us as it should have been. They were there. Obviously, at the beginning, 27-25, and then they just let Eastern take over in the second half. That failure to box out at the end led to that amazing putback dunk we mentioned.
Yeah.
So shout out to Eastern Michigan for winning this game. Wasn't what we wanted to see from the Zips, especially heading into the end of the season. Pretty sure it was this game knocked us out from the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Dropped us to the 2 seed, gave Toledo that. That's just devastating because as we know the way the tournament works, that first seed gets more rest from their first game to their second game, and that rest can be huge, especially if you get into a tight shootout with the other team, potentially injuries, sore players, stuff like that. It's a game they needed to win.
Yeah, 100%. There's really just no more to say about this. I have no idea what happened. That was such an uncharacteristic set of games. They have one more game before the MAC tournament, and I really just hope they can shape up, because if they don't, I'm not sure what's going to happen in the MAC tournament, if I'm completely honest. So now we are going to send it over to Zach, who covered the baseball team.
What's going on, everybody? Zach Leininger here, and today I'll be covering the Zips baseball team and seeing how they did in their recent series against Toledo. Akron opened the home portion of their season, welcoming the Rockets into Skeels Field. After losing the first game 6-3 and the second game 2-1, the Zips were determined to come away with a win in the third game. Toledo didn't make things easy for Akron as they quickly jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first inning, courtesy of a bomb from Luke Walton. After 2 straight defensive innings, the game moved into the fourth inning, where the Zips did the majority of their damage. A Charlie Reese single got Akron on the board, cutting the Rockets' lead down to 2. Braden Cavey kept the momentum rolling for the Zips with a sac fly to bring the game to within 1. Andrew Horvath followed that up with a sac fly of his own, evening the game at 3 apiece. Toledo came back in the 5th inning, taking the lead off of a 2-run double down the left field line. Keeping with the theme of the game, Akron once again found a way to answer back after a double from Horvath brought the Toledo lead to 1. Evan Batone helped the Zips capitalize on this opportunity, laying down a sac bunt to match the Rockets at 5 runs heading into the 8th inning. Toledo refused to go away quietly, adding on a 6th run in the top of the 8th off of a sac fly. Akron did their best to bounce back and tie the game, but several strikeouts later and an eventual failed stolen base attempt allowed the Rockets to come away with a 6-5 win. Overall, Toledo swept the series 3-0, so the Zips will look to get back in the win column with games against Pittsburgh and NIU coming up. This has been Zach Leininger with the ZTV Sports Report, and as always, go Zips!
Thank you, Zach. Well, coming into this first home series for the season, this Toledo team was first in the conference, so I'm not overly shocked that it was a rough time. This first game, we lost 6-3, which obviously isn't what we like to see. The second game, though, we kind of found our footing a little bit. We lost, but it was a lot closer. It was only 2-1 this time. And then in the third game, we lost again, but that was the closest it's been this entire time. It was 6-5. Both teams scored a lot, which is what we like to see. Our team seemed to really be finding their groove in that third game. So what do you have to say about this series?
Yeah, just looking at the series as a whole, in game 1, Toledo got off to a hot start. Nothing in the first inning, but after the second inning, Owen Jackson got him on with a 2-run home run. And then from there, they added a run, in the third, added a run in the fourth, added 2 in the fifth. The bats were just hot for them, and they got off to a good lead, and we just weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
Going into the second game, as you mentioned, it was a doubleheader. And it seems that we definitely were a little more prepared. I mean, it was right after, so the thoughts fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
You wanted to go out there and correct the mistakes. We corrected a lot of those mistakes.
Yeah.
The Toledo's runs did come to the 5th and 6th inning. Ended up 2-1 in a very winnable game. Dawson Turney did a really good job. 6 strikeouts. He did along with that, he did a good job of just keeping the ball on the ground, forcing a lot of flyouts, and then put him in a good position heading into the bottom of the ninth, much like in the first game. The Zips had a chance to win. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way they wanted it to, but that happens. It's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Then in the third game, a little more of the same. Definitely we're slowly piecing things together. I mean, Toledo got 3 in the first inning, but then the Zips defense shut them down for a few innings. Didn't score again until the 5th. Akron added 3 in the 4th. Set them up for a game that felt like they were slowly falling out of it, but they did a good job of battling, staying in it. Weather wasn't the best in the second game. It was great in the first 2 games. Not great in the last game. Like I said, they did a good job of battling back. Showed some good fight, and I think created some good. Just some good characteristics, some good things they can carry with them down the line.
I think all this baseball team needs to do is just get their offense going a little bit sooner, and then they'll just be in a bit of a better position throughout the season. And with that, we are going to go into our second commercial break, and after that, we are going to be talking about the swimming and diving team, the lacrosse team, and the softball team. So stay tuned.
You're watching ZTV.
Welcome back. Now let's talk about the swimming and diving team. So, Zach, this swimming and diving team has just been so incredibly fun to follow this season. They have been an amazing team for a really long time now. This MAC tournament was no different than any other, really. This was our 10th MAC tournament win in the 11 years our coach has been here, so good for him. We at the end of this tournament, we had 6 swimmers be on the MAC first team, 6 swimmers on the MAC second team. Abigail Daniel, who we've talked about many times on the show, won Most Outstanding Swimmer of the Year, which was much deserved, 100%. And then our head coach, Brian Parisi, won Swim Coach of the Year, which once again was much deserved, because as I said, in 11 years, he's won 10 championships, so I mean, that's definitely deserved. So what did you want to say about this team?
Yeah, I mean, this MAC championship was turned out exactly how we thought it would. We've talked a lot throughout the season that if this team continued to do what they've been doing the whole season, they were going to bring home a MAC championship win. That's exactly what they did. Miami was the second closest team to them, but even then, 150 points, not even really close.
Yeah.
Just a lot of solid performances overall. I know. I think Abby Daniels set a couple more records here.
Are we shocked?
No, not at all. Along with her, some other girls put up some amazing performances. Brought home more than 10 gold medals in this. Along with a bunch of other second and third place finishes that they seem to get forgotten, but those were huge to this win. Along with that, Madeline Gattrall, Veronica Gareca, and Abby Daniel, all 3 qualified individually to the national championships. So I'm proud of them, really excited for them, just to represent Akron, on a national level. The conference is nice, but just being able to go out and showcase your talent, all over to people who haven't seen you. Surprise some people. It's a really fun thing to think about, and it'll be a fun thing to watch.
Yeah.
But this swimming and diving team just capped off what was an amazing season. And I expect this to continue to be the trend for this team because it's just the standard they've set.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite fair to say that we blew this competition out of the water, honestly. Now let's shift our focus a little bit to the softball team. Since the last time we talked about them, our pitching staff has 56 strikeouts. Good for them. We have 13 home runs on the season. Good batting for sure. And our record is now 7-12, so that's always good to see. Do you have any thoughts on the softball team?
The softball team's just been, they've been just kind of riding it out so far. 7-12, obviously isn't amazing, but we knew from last season they were around a 500 team, which is kind of where I see them trending now. They've, obviously, like I said, it's the beginning of the season. We can't get too up right now. Can't get too down. We no need to overreact right now or anything. Obviously, the record isn't really what we want it to be, but there's plenty of time to improve that. I obviously expect them to. There's a lot of great talent on this roster, and I think it's going to show. Yeah, for sure. So their next game will be a 3-game series against NIU. So now it is time to talk about our last sport of the episode, lacrosse. Their record is 4-5, which is more wins than last season already, so good for them. In this Gardner-Webb game, we won 14-5. That's amazing. And Katie Balmer, our very own Katie Balmer, got a goal, which is always nice to see. So just talk about this Presbyterian game. Yeah, I mean, the game speaks for itself. 14-2.
That's amazing.
Coming off a 14-9 game against Gardner-Webb, this team's firing on all cylinders right now. It's a stark contrast to what we've seen last season. And as you mentioned, four wins is a lot more than they had last season. In fact, it's double what they had. They only ended the season with 2. 4-5 is a solid start to the season. Back-to-back 14-goal performances is amazing. Holding Presbyterian to 2, that's incredible. And it seems that this change of coaching staff, this new head coach, and just the group around her has really ignited something special in this team. It also helps that we've avoided the injuries thus far.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've been able to stay healthy. There's a lot of great athletes on this team, and I kind of have a feeling, that this lacrosse team has the ability to shock some people. They could be really good. Obviously they could not. It'll be up to them to continue this high level. They obviously have the ability to, and I'm just excited to see where the season will go.
Yeah, I honestly think what we're really seeing is that this team is just really connecting with their new coach, and that's just really helping them to be really successful. Their next game will be against EMU, and we really hope to see another win. So that'll be it for the day's episode. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and X at ZTV Sports, and on YouTube at ZTV Sports Report. As always, I'm Megan Williams.
And I'm Zach Leininger.
Thanks for watching, and go Zips!
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.